YouTube, what's up, man? It's CJ Wilkins back with another video, back with another episode of the CJ Wilkins YouTube channel. I appreciate you guys so much for rocking with my platform and my brand. The channel has been growing infinitely over the past couple of weeks, man, and I'm very grateful from the bottom of my heart, and I really mean that. I want to do an episode today, man, about the importance of minimizing the time you waste when unfortunate things happen in your life, or when you go through like losses or defeat. You know what I mean? Because I think far too many times, man, people experience some form of loss or failure, right? And it's normal to go through a phase of like, being sad or, reflecting back on what you did wrong or what you could have did better, you know what I'm saying? And then getting back on your feet, right? But for the people who take an inordinate amount of time, people who take like an extended amount of time weeping and woe is me to things that they can really just try to get back on the bike, you know what I'm saying? That's who I'm going to make this video for. And let me start off by saying also too, loss and failure in life is inevitable. It's going to happen to me. It's going to happen to you watching this video. Loss, defeat, it's going to happen to everybody, man. Everyone who is alive in this world, especially if you're someone who's really trying. Like if you're a person who's kind of, going with the flow, just kind of like cruising, not really putting yourself out there, kind of just, you're like an NPC, you know what I mean? For those who don't know what NPC is, it's like a non-playable character. You're just kind of in the background of life. You're not trying to rock the boat or make a name for yourself. You're just kind of a background character, You probably wouldn't be a background character if you watch my content, so shout out to the people watching this. But you know someone who's like this, is what I'm trying to say, right? You gotta understand, man, loss is inevitable. It's gonna happen to all of us. It's gonna happen, man. It's part of the game. You cannot go through this life without experiencing some type of setback, falling, falling on your face, getting the pie thrown in your face. You're gonna go through some form of loss or failure in this lifetime, man. And really the purpose of any type of failure or any type of loss, major or minor, is for you to gain a lesson from. There's something within that you're supposed to take from and become better as a result. Do people always do it though? Right? Have I always done it? Hell no. I think I do a better job of that now. I think I do a much better job of that now, but no, I haven't always been a person who would take an L, right, and learn from it. Now, I do a great job of it now, right? I'll say probably the last 8 to 10 years of my life, I've done a really good job of that. But early on, I was horrible at it. I used to take things personal. I used to just quit altogether, you know what I'm saying, and just let me try something else, you know what I'm saying? Like, really wasn't consistent on something if it didn't go right the first time. But guys, girls, who's ever watching this, look, man, normalize if you can. Make it a normal practice of when you fall down, you got to get back up, man. And it shouldn't be you got to get back up at some point. Yeah, take your time to mourn or, reflect or cry if you have to, but don't spend too much time down there, man. Because, when you first started, learning how to ride your bike or, learning how to skate, if you're the average kid, especially if you're a clumsy kid like I was growing up, you failed a lot, bro. Take them training. And see, I wasn't a kid who had training wheels. I learned how to ride a bicycle on 2 wheels, you know what I'm saying? My pops had me out in the driveway learning that shit, just 2 wheels, and if you fall, you fall, but nah, man, it's a crazy thing to just stay down, bro. It doesn't make any sense to me now as I've aged and grown and matured, and I've had a lot of victories in my life, man. I've had a lot of successes, and I'm gonna have a lot more, I'm not saying like that's the end or nothing like that, but because you got to think too, right? I want to get down into like the psychology of like staying down, because you got to think about it. Since we know that failing and coming up short and taking losses is inevitable, and we know that it's going to happen to all of us, right? Since we know that, us as a class, we have established that that's going to happen, right? That is going to occur. What you have to now think about is, okay, if I know failure is inevitable and it's going to happen to me regardless, let me get into the habit of thinking about what's next. Me thinking about, okay, what's my response to it? Because that's really what life is. Life is, and I forgot who like coined this quote, but a great philosopher once said, life is 10% of what happens to you and 90% of how you respond to it. That goes for people, places, and things that may give you a tough time or may give you a challenge. You got to ask yourself as a man or a woman or, a boy or girl, if you're watching this video when you're younger, this is applicable to all people too. You got to ask yourself, like, how long am I going to stay down? And hopefully you're a person who, I've actually been called emotionless and like heartless when it comes to like things I've gone through. Like I've been through certain things, certain incidents or certain major setbacks, but I don't spend a lot of time really crying about it, man, or complaining about it. I'll process things fairly quickly. I look at the part that I played in it, because you can't really examine what other people did, because it really don't matter what other people did. You don't get to control or dictate what other people did, but you do get to control the role you played in everything that happened to you. What if I did this? What if I did that? Or what position did I put myself in that even allowed people to do this to me, if that's the question too, But that's neither here or there. The main thing I want y'all to get from this episode, man, is learn how to minimize the amount of time you spend down when you fall. Because you will fall. You will go through, points in your life to where things that are unfortunate are going to happen. You may go through a divorce. You may lose a job. You may get fired. You may try to start a business and it just flops. It doesn't do well. You may have a passion for a career that you go for and you don't get the role, or you don't get signed to the deal, or whatever the case is. You have to figure out, who you are first. That's the most important thing. Because if you know who you are, you also inadvertently know who you're not. So the amount of time that you spend down a lot of times is because you're lost, right? You're angry, you're bitter, you're upset, you're frustrated, you're confused, right? So it's very important for you to know who you are, because if you know who you are and you fall down, because you know who you are and you're so intact and in tune with who you are, you won't feel a need to just have to like stay down and like check out of the game, because you know who you are. And if you're a person like me, I view myself so highly and so favorably in the world, in the universe, in the eyes of God, that when I fail, it's almost like, okay, cool, what's next? What's my counter punch? Because when you fall or when you get knocked down, all it is life giving you like a punch. You got to look at it like a boxing match, right? Excuse me. It's a boxing match, man. Like when you get knocked down, sometimes it's like life just threw you like a jab or a haymaker, right? And it knocked you down, but that doesn't mean you're out. That doesn't mean that you're down for the count. You got to get up, Even if you have to get up and like readjust a little bit before you jump back in it all the way, you know what I'm saying? You still want to be in a position, man, to where you're able to like regather yourself, but keep going, man. Like, don't stay stagnant for too long. You know what I'm saying? Because stagnation is one of the quickest ways to permanent failure. And you never want to experience permanent failure. Like, if you go through a little L, a little loss here or there, that's cool. But you don't want to be in a position, man, where you have failed permanently. And permanently is when you've given up. You just don't try anymore, and it's just, you went through something and it's just kind of like, what's the point, or, woe is me, and you start to feel bad about yourself, man. And that's not a good spot to be in. That's not a good place to exist. But yeah, man, try to give yourself some credit, bro. Try to give yourself some encouragement when you fall, to know that this isn't a place I have to stay, because we've all been down at some point, at some juncture in the game, at some phase of life. We've all been down, and it's very important for us to realize when we're down, we got to be able to get up. And the quicker you're able to get up and get back on your purpose and to your mission, getting back on the path of what the Most High or God created you for, the sooner you can do that, the better your life will be. The better you'll feel, because instead of feeling down on yourself, instead of feeling like discouraged and everything, it's something about forward progress and active movement that really lights a fire up under you. It's something about working and putting in the effort to achieve a goal, right? Even if it's a small step. It's something about going forward and forward progress, man, that really enlightens you and makes you feel like, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm going to get there eventually, Even if it's not a grandiose step to where you'll get there in one day, eventually, if you're making forward progress, you'll get there, right? And it's like they say, you never have to be great to get started, but you do have to get started to be great. You know what I mean? So it's like when you fall, don't stay down, man. Like, I don't care what you're going through right now. You may be in a rocky relationship. It may not work. It may work. You may be on, crazy ice at the job. You know what I'm saying? You may keep the job. You may lose the job. But regardless, have a plan to what you're going to do next. And don't be afraid to get back to work, all right? As always, it's your guy CJ. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And let me know how y'all feel about this video. All right? I'm out. Peace.